Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Little Side Note. And welcome back. This is Maya. And
Win.
so, the topic for this week is just a little bit more clarification on mental health. Since we are reaching Mental Health Awareness Month, we thought that it would be a good topic to talk about.
Yep. First off, we decided to make this video to spread more awareness of what mental illness is exactly, because I feel like there's a lot of misconception going around with what it actually is. Yep. By no means, I would say that I'm not like officially like diagnosed, so I feel like I don't have the I don't know, like the rights to say what is and what isn't actually. But we just want to clear out like exaggerating things.
Yeah, a little bit more clarification, I feel. Just because mental health is such a new topic, especially in the Cambodia language, you don't even have a proper word that suitably expresses it, in my opinion. If I were to try to explain mental health to an elder, they would think that this is something of like craziness or you losing your mind, instead of this being like, oh, you have your physical health, but you also have a mental health that you need to keep in check. It's not saying that, oh, just because you're diagnosed with this, you have a sickness that you're stuck with life with, that you're defined as a patient. At least that's not what I perceive it as. I think that everyone has a little bit of a mental health issue. It's just the severity of it that like it affects your daily life. Some people are like they have it but they avoid it and they shove it down, which is, I don't know about you guys, but I've tried talking about mental health with my parents and they're like, well, you shove your feelings down, you don't speak it out, which not healthy, guys. You should never do that. You should always find and seek a professional if you ever need it. Most cases elders do know better, but on mental health I say, elders, you know no shit.
So a lot of old people think that mental health is just like stress. They think like we're too young to have mental health, stuff like that. Because whenever I talk to my parents, they're like, you're worrying too much, like you're young, you can't be like, you can't like have mental problems, right? And I do think that a lot of older people have like mental health problem, especially PTSD from like, you know, the Khmer Rouge back then. It's just because they have no way to get like help. So
Side note, that's off topic, but because you mentioned like old people saying, oh, you're too young to have this or that, I'm like, it reminded me of how people are like, you're too young to be in love. But then it reminded me of that because when I was watching a video, I remember this one phrase where they said, you thought you were in love, and when you grow older, you thought it wasn't love, but in truth it was love, because it was love for what you thought it was. So yeah,
I feel like
a nice phrase. I like that.
I feel like a lot of old people keep saying that you're too young, but how old will you be old? You know, like to them we're always young, right? So they're like, you're too young. So when how old is old for them?
This is like a funny story, but you know how we went to like a really strict school, no hair dye, no makeup, no nail polish. So to me, I was like, oh, I was fine with that because I did not like it anyway. I hate doing anything that was like, oh, too long. I felt like this is tedious. There's no point to it. I myself was enough for me. So when I finally got out of that school, I was like, I'll start wearing makeup when I'm like, what, 20, 23 or something. I don't give a damn. When when everyone else in the world was like advancing and experimenting who they were when they were younger, I was like still quite lost, and I'm just like, I don't give a shit about it, which made the struggle of like trying to find yourself when most people were doing it at 16. I was trying to find myself when I was like 17, 18, going into college. So that was like, in a sense, it developed discipline, but in another sense, it made you feel more lost and less confident of who you are. So
it kind of makes you feel like I don't know if it's you feel the same, but sometimes I feel like even when I'm with people who are the same age as I am, I feel the youngest. I feel like a fraud.
Me, not really, because everyone that I've met since I went abroad said they when I was 19, they all thought that I was 23 because emotionally I was more mature than them. And they're like, in front of particular people I let loose and be crazy. But to most people I'm quiet, I'm calm, and I'm composed, which throws people off guard thinking that I'm mature or like my personality is quiet. It's just I'm not on that stage of comfortableness with you just yet. Like give me like maybe half a year of consistently seeing you. That's when like I let loose and I'm not so stiff.
It's understandable.
I guess maybe it's the introvert in me, but at the same time, I question it because there are people that I've met recently, and then it made me question all that. Like all of your friends that I've never met in person, literally only chatted with, and I can like be crazy on video calls with them and just like let loose. Like I don't really do that to most people that I meet. So
I think it's more of like you're comfortable enough to show yourself, because I feel like our group of friends, you know that they won't judge you for anything. Right? That's like our whole friend group. So I do believe that because we have like a safe, comforting zone, then it's okay for you to come out and just be like that, because there's always no judgment.
I feel like boundaries is something that I never had to point out because they have a sense of the same boundaries. So it was a lot easier to communicate. But with other people, I feel like my boundaries and their boundaries and what I think and what they think, what like my boundaries and their boundaries are just different, and it's sometimes tedious to explain it all the time when they've crossed the line and they don't get it. It's like different vibe, I guess. So don't know what to do.
So going
back on top.
My god, my English topic. What we wanted to discuss early on the episode is a lot of people say that they have depression even when they're just sad. Like we are by no means like a psychologist that can like really evaluate what people are going through, but I feel like some people really don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just something of an inconvenience in their life that they're stressed out about. Like maybe it's a breakup and they're like, oh, I have depression after a breakup, but it's just sadness in general.
It's the line is very blurry. Like you already know depression does, like this is just my idea of it. I don't, by no means have I extensively researched into like journals or like talked to a doctor about this, so don't quote me. I might be wrong. Call me out on my BS if you need to, please. It's very welcomed. But this is what I think, when you have depression, you're sad, you find no purpose in anything that you do, even if you liked it before, you had passion about it before, you just don't see the meaning of it all anymore. And then even the simplest task of getting out of bed can seem like the hardest obstacle that you could ever do.
I would say that, okay, I went to a doctor. They're not a psychologist.
Yeah.
And they unofficially diagnosed me with severe depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Which, to me personally, I don't really think I have depression. Like, maybe I don't know it myself, because I talked to my doctor. Like, I seem fine. Like, I'm a normal person outside, and he's like, it's not what is like on the outside. It's more about how you're feeling and how you're dealing with it. It's about what's inside. What are you thinking? And I do agree that I don't know if I do have it. I'm just sharing my experience on what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I keep trying to do something that was in the past that I used to have fun with. For example, I used to play like PUBG Mobile every day, hang with my friends, and I find it like fun. And now I'm trying to do that again, but I don't have that level of happiness that I had, and it's frustrating to me because I keep trying to do things that I used to do in the past that made me happy. Yeah, so in terms of that, like like I said again, I don't think I have depression. Maybe it's a part of me that's in denial that I'm not okay. But yes, overall, but I definitely do have anxiety.
Yeah, you for sure have anxiety. For me,
it's not even generalized anxiety. It's more like health anxiety that I have, which I think a lot of people don't know what it is. So I want to elaborate on it. It's where you kind of like overthink about your health. Like I want to talk about this, but at the same time, I don't want to give people reasons to overthink their health. Yes.
Say whatever you're comfortable with. I know saying don't overthink it does not help, but it's like just my general go to, like, don't overthink it. Say what you want to say. If you don't feel okay with saying it, then don't say it. It's fine.
Like, this is just my experience. I don't want you to get scared. So so basically, something happened through my life, and like medically. So and I've been having worries about my health ever since that, and it's been bad because I feel like, so what it feels like is like you have a headache. That's normal. Everybody has a headache. You think you're having like really something serious going on with your brain, or you suddenly feel like you have a heartburn. Maybe you ate something spicy, or like there's just like something weird in your body, and then you feel like you're having a heart attack, and it's just you over fixate on your body, and you think there's something wrong with you, which that's why I keep going to the doctor, and the doctor keep reassuring me that it's fine, but to me it's not. And I did get like a message from my doctor. He told me that with anxiety, sometimes it depends on the circumstances, sometimes it's your genetics, sometimes it can be cured through therapy, sometimes you have to take medication, sometimes it never goes away, and that's okay. Like, as long as you need you know you have it, you have to get help, basically.
I didn't know anxiety was genetic too, actually. That's a shocker to me, because I always assume most of mental health is not genetic. So that's interesting. Something you learn a little bit something every day. Hey. But I do feel like Cambo people overgeneralize the mental health, because in English, you can say you have anxiety, you have depression, you have sleep disorder, you have personality disorder, bipolar, all that stuff. Whereas in Cambo, they only hear depression.
Yeah.
And everything that they feel in their head, they're just like, I probably have depression. Which, it's confusing, but it's best to research the term. I don't think I know of any Cambo psychologist.
Yeah.
So I guess even the terms itself are not defined in Khmer language.
No,
So
wait, I think there is.
There is?
ជំងឺបាក់ទឹកចិត្ត. Yeah.
Oh. Depression, yes, but like for other stuff, like we don't have a name for bipolar.
Yeah.
None that I've know about. Or like anxiety. I don't think I've heard of it. Depression is widely known just because I think it got like noticed a few years ago when something happened on the news, and then people are like, oh, it's because of mental health, it's because of depression, and they just associate depression with mental health, and that's it for mental health, which is like, no, your daily behavior, like even from one friend to another, sometimes the words you say, you think that there is no effect, but you don't know what goes on in their heads. Like maybe just saying like, oh, you're so mean, you could be joking, but someone on the receiving end, they could be overthinking because they have, I don't know, they've already overthought about this before. So you're just like, even though you're joking about it, you're just validating their thought of like, oh, I'm bad, because this reminded me of like when I was younger, I associated like annoyance as a bad word. And it's like, oh, if people described me as annoying even as a joke, I took it really personally. Now I guess it's more like I've learned to say that, okay, this is who I am. If I'm annoying, then I'm annoying. It's just part of my charm, my personality, and there's nothing to be ashamed about it. So I joke about it a lot, like, oh, I get called annoying. Yeah, I'm just an annoying person because I do want you guys in my life, and I want to keep you guys in my life. This is my reason to be annoying.
Yeah. Like, not to throw shade at anybody. I feel like in Cambo, people use the term depression so easily to me. Like, I'm pretty sure some people really have it, but it's then again, it's about like, because we don't have a psychologist in Cambo that is well known, or there's a safe zone where you can go talk to people. So in that sense, it's kind of like a double-edged sword where people can just throw it anywhere. I wanted to ask you about this controversial thing, because to me personally, when people say they're sad or they have depression and they post a lot on social media, like, to me personally, maybe that's their outlet, but to me, the way I see it is, I feel like it's a little bit fake.
In the back of my head, I'm like, is she gonna ask me, is this just people looking for attention? Which, okay, I'm a little this is a little bit of a controversial topic for me anyway, at least I think it is. Like, people say, oh my gosh, attention is so bad, but my way of thinking is like, well, we are social animals. We do need attention to survive. So if people need attention, why are you blaming them for it? It's just their way of surviving and living in this complex world. It's already fucked up enough. And if the attention gives them a little bit more peace of mind, and it's not costing you anything just to give like a little bit of attention to them, then it's fine. As long as you're not costing them their peace of mind, their livelihood, and like generally anything that's important to them, then like your little like attention, I think it's not bad. But I do know people associate it's like attention seekers are bad and all that stuff.
I see some people say that people who do share them and say that they have depression is like a cry for help, basically. But like I said, again, this is controversial because to me, I feel like if I was like really, 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 really sad, I wouldn't have the energy to go out to post about it. But
to me,
then
I'm
again,
like,
like people are different,
Yeah, to me, I'm like, yeah, people are different and they have different ways of expressing. Going back on what you were saying about like posting about their feelings on social media, I guess you could say, just like I know everyone does this here in Cambo, so it seems like the norm when you're just like, oh, bad mouthing someone anonymously or doing this or doing that. But to me, like if I'm sad or I'm depressed or I'm under so much pressure, my coping mechanism is I don't want other people to see it, because in my brain,
same.
It's like, why would I want to spread this sadness to the world, to the people who are having a good day? So my rule of thumb is I try to never post about it, or like even if I post about it, maybe that time I need attention. Like I cannot reach out to anyone, so I just post it on my close friends, hoping that someone would reach out to me and then I would be able to release it a bit. But generally, I won't post anything emotional.
I never post anything emotional because I like to hide my feelings a lot. Like you can see that even if you ask me about something, I'm like, haha, it's fine. But like sometimes when I do post about it, no, actually I never post about it. But
you never post.
If I post about something, I feel like when people actually reply to my story to cheer me up, I don't know, it sounds a little bit fakey.
I feel that way with compliments, mainly why I don't give compliments. Like
same.
It's so rare to hear me say someone is pretty or beautiful even though I think of it. Like because I don't want to sound fake, so I don't say it. Or like, oh, if someone's handsome, I don't say it. It's just like I always think that, well, they're handsome, they're pretty, they know this, why do they need my validation? Maybe they don't need anyone's validation.
It's kind of ingrained in our head that our parents do this to other people to kind of take advantage of people.
Yeah, it's like a tool of manipulation.
Yeah, so in a way, because like we were manipulated by that.
Yeah.
Then we associate compliments with manipulation.
I think it's like I don't know how to respond to compliments, even if I know that they're genuine. I'm just like, thank you. Okay. Like today I got the chance to go out and I was really happy about it, and I did a little makeup. I looked great in my head anyway. I don't know what others think, but I'm happy with how I looked. I went out, had fun, I came back, and then someone was like, oh, you look so pretty today, and I'm like, I don't know how to respond. I'm like, huh? Thank you, but I feel like I don't necessarily look that much different to the point that people need to point it out. So yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it ties into thinking that people don't actually find us actually like really pretty. It's just a way for them to. I know it's like a fucked up mentality, but like maybe it's it's like an underlying issue that you need to talk about, because there's something wrong there.
There's something wrong there. People should be able to accept compliments without a second thought.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe it's just the environment we grew up in. Because I do see that other friends, like, they're fine with it. They know how to take a compliment. They compliment someone else back, and I'm just like, even complimenting someone else back, I'm like, I don't want to sound fake.
Yeah. Especially when like somebody's complimenting you. I don't know, like giving other people a compliment after they compliment me feels like it's like an afterthought. Like they compliment you and you compliment them, and then it just feels like you're just complimenting them because they complimented you.
Yeah. It's like I need to Google how to respond to compliments maybe. Dude, I don't know how to respond without me overthinking this and that. For me, I'm like, I've never gotten diagnosed, but I accept that I do overthink situations and weigh them way too heavily in the moment when in truth it's like such a tiny small thing. Like I was telling you earlier on where over the weekend I was so pressured with this one thing because I was working so hard on it. And then to hear that it suddenly got dropped, I couldn't process it. Like it wasn't necessarily a panic attack. I just felt extremely heavy. Like I cannot control my emotions. I'm hoping it was hormones though. I'm really hoping it was hormones that pushed it. But it was like I woke up at 4 a.m. I saw the news and I was like, oh frickin' hell. And I couldn't breathe couldn't breathe easily. I could not feel my emotions, letting it go for a good 2 hours until I woke up and I cried a bit about it, and then it like finally got off my chest a bit after like another 5 hours. That's when I felt like, okay, I can breathe again. I don't feel this emotional pressure on my shoulders, on my heart anymore. I really need to get checked up.
I think therapy is more about teaching yourself to rewire your brain. Basically.
Yeah. I guess we should wrap up
the episode.
Yeah.
So like I just wanted to say that if you do feel like you need an outlet, then or show your emotions, just do it. It's very, very like, I wouldn't say relaxing because crying is ugly.
Crying lets you feel alive again. I'm not gonna lie, like the aftermath of it, it's like a miracle, even though the process it's really bad.
But definitely if you can find help, and definitely surround yourself with good people who are good to you.
I think in a sense my mental health is not as severe as everyone else's. I think it's just because I think I got lucky with people. I always emphasize this. I've been really lucky with people.
Yeah, and I guess another thing is I do think that our society do believe in mental health, but in some senses we do deny ourselves like having an issue. So yeah. Oh, and P.S. since it's Pride Month, go watch The Handmaiden, and it's rated 18+. So be careful of that. But yeah, it's top tier with Parasite.
I'm never gonna watch that. Thank you. I am hooked on my Penthouse season 3, which is releasing tonight. Woo!
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so do follow us on Instagram at Little Side Note Podcast, and YouTube and Facebook where our podcast with video is. It's Little Side Note the Podcast, and we have a Spotify as well, which is Little Side Note the Podcast as well. And as always, you can email us about anything, or even if you need a friend to talk to, it's at littlesidenode@gmail.com, or you can DM us. I think I just put on my customer service voice.
I think you did. I always have a hard time relaying all that, but you're like so smooth. I'm like, okay. Vin does it well.
Okay, as always, stay safe and take care. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.